Hey everybody, this is Dave Little coming to you live from the Dave Cave with a History Maker baseball game from the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament, featuring Game 3, the decisive Game 3 between the 2002 Cleveland Indians and the 2005 Angels. This series is 1-1 right now, as both teams won their road games. And last night's game between the Indians and the Angels ended in dramatic fashion. The Angels took a big lead in front of Angels starter Bartolo before Jim Thome led the Indians on a 6-run rally in the 6th inning. 3 hits, 4 walks, and a hits batsman in that inning, which brought the Indians off the mat. The Angels tied the game in the bottom of the 8th, but the Indians came back in the top of the 9th with Jim Thome stroking another RBI single to win this game. And we are headed to Game 3, and let's take a look at the particulars for tonight's game as you can see on the screen. It will be Bartolo starting tonight for the 2002 Indians. Believe it or not, he pitched on both of these squads, and tonight he is in line for the start for Cleveland. And he will be facing off against John Lackey. So good pitching matchup. Both guys with ERAs below 3.5. Angels had 95 wins in 2005, so they're one of the top seeds in the American League bracket in the tournament. And the Indians at 74 wins are a bit surprising that they've made it even this far. Your hot hitters tonight will be Jim Thome for the Indians. As I mentioned, 2 key hits in last night's game. Sean Figgins is the hot hitter for the 2005 Angels. The cold guys will be Russell Branyan for the Indians and Vlad Guerrero, 0 for 4 last night for the Angels. So we'll see if that cold streak hurts Vlad tonight. Both teams rolled out as semi-harmonious, since they both won one and lost one in the tournament so far. And for your messages, Thome is not only the hot hitter tonight, but if he hits a Delta rating, that will go as a home run. He got a perk tonight as a result of the messages. The perk for the Angels is that Casey Kochman, their backup first baseman, will be hot for tonight's game. So if the Angels need a pinch hitter, it will be Kochman on the mound for that, or coming off the bench to take advantage of the hot bat. The weather today is neutral. As always in Southern California, it is a beautiful Chamber of Commerce style day as we are here in the Angels ballpark. So for those of you able to join us on the live stream, or if you're catching this after the fact, we thank you for checking us out tonight. We are coming from Angel Stadium, normal for right-handers and semi-big for left-hand batters. Your umpires for tonight's game, behind the plate is D. Scott Howard, semi-respected umpire. Keith Avalone is your first base umpire, and he is strict. Bobby Catalano is your second base umpire. She is questionable, and she had a couple of calls when she was behind home plate in the first game of this series that were crucial. And your third base umpire is Rob, Mr. Excitement. Rob exclamation point draws the third base umpiring assignment here tonight as Lackey faces Cologne. I'm using a different setup tonight. For the first time, I am doing History Maker Baseball on my mini computer with a bunch of wires and converters and things to get plugged in, both the webcam and the tablet that I'm using for the iScore for tonight's broadcast. So once again, let me know if you like the layout, if you like the sound quality and the visual quality. The lighting in the Dave Cave is not the greatest, so I've got somewhat of a low light set up here to keep the glare off of the screen, but we'll do our best to bring you a good ball game. And let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups for your visiting Cleveland Indians. Leading off the shortstop, Omar Vizquel. Second baseman, Ricky Gutierrez bats second. Jim Thome is your first baseman batting third. Tonight's DH is Ellis Burks. Batting fourth. Batting fifth, the center fielder Milton Bradley. Batting 6th in right field is Matt Lawton. Travis Fryman is your third baseman, batting 7th. The left fielder batting 8th is Russell Branyan. Einar Diaz handles the catching duties tonight, and he's batting 9th. So once again, Vizquel at short, Gutierrez at second, Thome at first. Burks the DH, Bradley in center field, Lawton in right field. Fryman at third, Branyan in left, and Diaz catching. For the Angels, Sean Figgins, the leadoff hitter. He is the hot batter for tonight, and he is playing third base. Adam Kennedy is your second baseman, is your center fielder, batting 9th. Once again, Figgins at third, Kennedy at second, Anderson in left, Guerrero in right, Molina catching, Rivera in center. Rivera will be the DH tonight. Erstad at first, Cabrera shortstop, and Finley in center field. And with that, I believe we are ready to play ball. I'd like to say welcome to our Red Sox fan in the chat room here tonight. Take me out to the ball game. It is Omar Vizquel leading off against John Lackey for the Angels. And the first roll tonight is a 2-6-6. Is there a runner on first? No. Is he the leadoff batter? Yes, he is. That's a base hit to center field. And Omar Vizquel has us started off with the first hit of the ball game. Vizquel is a normal runner. Benji Molina is a semi-gold catcher. So we will not attempt to run on Molina quite yet in this ball game. Your next batter is Ricky Gutierrez. Gutierrez rolls a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? Yes, there are. That is going to be plate drama. And according to the plate drama chart, the roll is a 1-2. Is the catcher iron? No, sir. That's Benji Molina. So that will be a ball. He handles the rising fastball, preventing the wild pitch. But now we're going to go to the umpire's chart to decide this at bat with a runner on first. Let's see what these rascally umpires are going to do here tonight. Runner on first. And on a roll of 3-5, is there a lenient umpire at second base? That is Bobby Catalano. She is questionable, but she is not lenient. And so in this case, the questionable umpire would call the runner safe at second on a stolen base attempt despite a close throw from the catcher. Other umpires call the runner out, batter still at bat. So that is going to be an out stealing, caught stealing for Omar Vizquel. And we will go catcher to second base on the throw. And now Gutierrez returns to bat with one out and nobody on base. Gutierrez now rolls the 1-1-5. As we flip back over in the game guide, is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. That will be a pop out to the choice infielder. In this case, it's a pop out to first base. As Darren Erstad, the fine fielding first baseman for California and a former college football punter, makes the play to retire Gutierrez for the second out. Jim Thome now is your hot batter, batting third, and on a 3-5-6. Is Lackey the same as Thome? No, so that will not be a strikeout. Is the batter a utility or a sad sag? No. That's going to be a single down the first baseline. And that's a base hit for Jim Thome. And with two on and Thome on first, the batter will be Ellis Burks, the designated hitter. The roll is a 1-5-6. Is Burks a whiffer? Indeed he is, so he strikes out to end the inning. And at the bottom of the first, it is the Indians nothing and the Angels coming to bat. Sean Figgins to lead off for the Angel. Sean Figgins to lead off for the Angels. as this commercial break is provided to you free of charge by Visor, the interface that I use to stream my tablet onto the PC screen. Figgins now leading off against Bartolo Colon. The roll is a 1-5-6. Is Figgins a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and that is a strikeout. Next up is Adam Kennedy, the left-handed batting second baseman. And on a roll of 2-4-5, is Kennedy he is a semi-active runner. So if he gets his lead, he can determine if he is a... First we'll try for his lead. And the decider die says he gets the lead. So now if he is active, he is safe on a 1-5. If he is normal, it's 1-4. We'll roll both die at the same time. He is a normal runner, but on a roll of 4, he is safe. So Kennedy steals second base and gets into scoring position for the number 3 batter, Garrett Anderson. Anderson rolls a 1-2-3. Is Lackey both flash and fresh? He is flash and he is fresh. Excuse me, this is Colon. He is fresh, and the decider die says he is a flash. So that is a strikeout. Strikeout swinging for Garrett Anderson. Vlad Guerrero is now at the plate. He is the cold guy tonight. And we'll see if he can get the run home here in the bottom of the first inning. And on a roll of 1-1-1 is Colon an ace. The decider die says no. Is Vlad Guerrero a scrapper? Not in a million years. That is a home run to left field. So Vlad Guerrero goes deep. And very quickly the Angels take a 2-0 lead here in the decisive game of the series. Hello, Clinton Parks and Philip Reynolds. Welcome to the chat room tonight for History Maker Baseball. The 2005 Los Angeles Angels have just taken a 2-0 lead on a first inning home run by Vlad Guerrero. And that brings Benji Molina to the plate. Molina rolls a 1-2-3. Is Colon a flash? No. The decider die says no. So that is going to be a ground out to shortstop to end the inning. And after one complete, the Angels 2 and the Indians nothing. Milton Bradley to lead things off in the top of the second for Cleveland, facing off against John Lackey. Lackey stakes to a 2-0 lead now. And Bradley delivers a 1-3-4. Is the catcher gold? Molina is semi-gold. The decider die says no. Is the hitter a champion? Bradley is not a champion. So we are going to go to the outfield drama chart. What's going to happen on the outfield drama chart? The roll is 2-3. Is the center fielder iron? The center fielder tonight is Steve Finley. He is not an iron guy. So that is going to be an easy fly out for the first out of the inning. And that brings Matt Lawton to the plate with 1 out and the bases empty. Lawton facing Lackey delivers a 4-4-5. Is Lackey a workman? No. Is Lawton patient? The decider die says no. That's going to be a ground out to first base. And your 2-out batter now will be Travis Fryman. Looking to get something started against John Lackey here with 2 outs. The roll is a 5-6-6. Is Lackey wild? No. Is Fryman a good eye? No. That is going to be a strikeout to end the inning. And at the end of 2.5, it remains 2-0 Los Angeles. And by virtue of that last roll, we're going to start this inning on the right now chart as Juan Rivera steps to the plate against Bartolo Colon. And the roll is a 1-5. Is it a cold batter? No, he is not cold. He pounces on the pitch and delivers a single through shortstop. So a leadoff single for Juan Rivera. And the Angels once again have something going. That brings the left-handed hitting Darren Erstad to the plate. Revere is a semi-stoic runner, so he will not attempt any shenanigans on the base paths. Hello, Rob. How are you there, sir? Good to see you in the chat room. Rob, you're also umpiring at third base here tonight, so try and do a good job for us. Erstad, the batter, with Rivera at first base and nobody out. He rolls a 3-4-4. Is Erstad a prospect? No, he's an icon. Is the pitcher a prospect? Colon is not a prospect. Is the batter patient? He is not patient, and that will be a pop out to second base. Getting ahead of myself here, reading stuff out of the book. And with one out, your batter will be Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera against Colon. The roll is a 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No, he is not. Is the batter patient? Cabrera is not patient. That is going to be a ground out to third base. A whiffer strikes out. Cabrera is not a whiffer. And on the ground out to third base with a lead die of 1, that will be a double play. That's a 5-4-3 double play. And that will end the bottom of the second as Cabrera wraps into the pitcher's best friend. And at the end of 2 complete, it remains Angels 2, Indians nothing. It will be 8-9-1 for the Indians in the top of the third as Russell Branyan, the cold guy, leads it off for the Indians. And he rolls a 1-1-3. Is Lackey an ace? No. Is the batter a slugger? The decider die says yes, and that's going to be a double to left field for Russell Branyan. Starting things off with a bang for the Tribe here in the top of the third. Branyan at second now for Einar Diaz. Diaz facing off against Lackey. And the roll is a 3-5-6. Are they the same? Yes, they are the same. Right-hander versus right-handed pitcher. And that will be a strikeout. And that will bring Omar Vizquel to the plate. Top of the order. Branyan still at second base. 1 out now in the top of the third. And the roll here is a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? Vizquel is not eager. That's going to be a ground out to second base. Unless the batter is patient. He is not patient. So that will be a ground out to second base. And that will move the runner Branyan to third. So we have a ground out to second. Branyan moves over to third base with 2 outs. And Ricky Gutierrez has a chance to put the Tribe on the board for the first time here in the top of the third. Gutierrez rolls a 3-6-6. Is he a pinch hitter? No. That's going to be a fly out to center field to end the inning. So after 2.5, the Tribe still scoreless. Angels still leading 2-0 as the number 9 hitter Steve Finley comes to the plate to start things off for the Angels here in the bottom of the third. Finley rolls a 5-5-5. Is the pitcher an ace? The decider die says yes. And that will be a deep fly ball out to right field. That brings Sean Figgins, the hot hitter for Los Angeles tonight, to the plate. 1 out against Colon. The roll here is a 1-3-5, and that's going to take us to our random events chart for the night. And on a lead die of 1, that is the umpire chart. With the bases empty, let's see what's going to happen. The roll is 5-6. Is there a strict umpire at home? D. Scott Howard is not strict. Batter claims foul tip on strike 3 disallowed. Other umpires, Foul tip, batter still at bat. So that may or may not have been a foul tip, but Figgins is still at the plate on the call by D. Scott Howard. And we go back to the standard charts with one out for Figgins. And the roll now is a 3-3-3. Is Figgins a utility or a sad sack? No. And on a 3-3-3, that will be a triple to the gap. How about Sean Figgins with a triple? And with one out, he is 90 feet away from scoring the third run of the game for Los Angeles with Adam Kennedy at the plate. And I think we have to play the infield in. It's early yet, but this is the deciding game of the tournament. Kennedy is a hero. He's a scrapper. What do you think, guys? Infield in? I'm going to play the infield in. And we will see what happens here with Kennedy batting against Colon with one out and Figgins at third. The roll here is a 2-4-4. Is the pitcher an ace? The decider die says no. Is the batter a champion? He is not. That is going to be a ground out to shortstop. If he's a whiffer, he strikes out. We need the decider die. He grounds out to third base, and let's see what is going to happen. Runner infield playing in. The lead die in this case was a 2, and that means the runner holds. So, Kennedy grounds out to Vizquel at short. Vizquel looks Figgins back to third, delivers to first for the second out of the inning, and that was a big out for Bartolo Colon, as the runner is forced to hold. And with 2 outs, your batter will be Garrett Anderson. Last chance to get the run home here. And on a 1-1-4, is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. That's a ground out to shortstop to end the inning. So nice defense by Omar Vizquel. Saves a run for Cleveland. And as we go to the top of the fourth, it is still a 2-0 ball game. LA is on top. Pitchers are both now semi-fresh, so we'll have to look to the decider die if the fresh roll comes up. And leading off for the Indians is the hot hitter Jim Thome. Thome on a roll of 2-4-4. Is the pitcher an ace? No, he is not. Is the batter a champion? The decider die says no, and that's going to be a ground out to shortstop or a whiff if he is a whiffer. And he is indeed a whiffer, so that's a strikeout of Jim Thome. That brings Ellis Burks to the plate. Burks homered in game 1 of the series. And against Lackey, he fires up a 2-3-3. Is Lackey an ace or a star? He's a semi-star, but the decider die says no. Is the batter a slugger? He is a home run king, but he is not a slugger. So that will be a fly out to center field. And quickly, 2 up and 2 down for the Indians. Their 2 most dangerous hitters are retired to start the inning by Lackey. That brings Milton Bradley to the plate. Bradley, 1-4-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. And that will be a ground out to first base. And quickly, 3 up and 3 down for the Indians here in the fourth. And as we go to the bottom of the fourth, it's still a 2-0 ball game with Vlad Guerrero leading off for the Angels. He hit the 2-run homer that put the Angels on top in the first inning, in spite of the fact that he is tonight's cold batter for Los Angeles. And the opening roll of the inning is 1-5-6. Is Vlad a whiffer? He is not a whiffer. And that is going to take us to the outfield drama chart. Let's see what's happening in the outfield drama. 1-5 is your roll. Is the left fielder gold? The left fielder is Russell Branyan. He sure as heck ain't gold. So he will not make a running stab of a sharp line drive to left. Instead, that's going to fall in front of Branyan for a single to left field to open the inning for Los Angeles. And with that roll, that takes us to the team chemistry chart. Both teams are semi-harmonious here for tonight's ball game. Benji Molina is now your batter with Vlad Guerrero at first base. The roll is a 2-4. Batting team harmony, the decider die says no. So there will not be a bloop single. Instead, we will have another outfield drama roll. Let's see if they can pick on Russ Branyan again. The roll is 2-4. Is the center fielder gold? Tonight's center fielder for Cleveland is Milton Bradley. He is also semi-iron, so he is not gold. He will not make a sensational diving catch, and the ball will slip through for a base hit. That is a single. And on a lead die of 2, the runners advance 1 base. So that is a single for Molina. Guerrero holds up at second. And we're back to the team chemistry chart. It is the bottom of the 4th. And the Angels are threatening. Already ahead 2-0. They have their first 2 men on base. And as we go to the team chemistry chart, the roll is 1-2. Batting team dissonance, no. So there will not be a called third strike, you're out. And instead, we are going to have a fence check for Juan Rivera. He is a semi-slugger, semi-home run king. We'll check the decider die first. The decider die is yes. So he is a slugger. As we go to the fence chart, and the fence chart rating of 4 is a home run for Juan Rivera. That is a 3-run shot for Rivera. And that gives the Angels a 5-0 lead. As Juan Rivera touches them all, and here in the bottom of the 4th, it is now a 5-0 ball game. And that is 3 guys on base in a row for Los Angeles, and that makes Colon a semi-struggler. Unless he can get another out here, he will become a full struggler as Darren Erstad comes to the plate. Erstad, 1-5-6. Is Erstad a whiffer? He is a whiffer, so he is struck out. And that gets Colon off the schneid for becoming a struggler. In terms of runs given up, I usually fall back on the Stratomatic rules for this, which is 5 runs in an inning makes you weak, 6 over 2 or 7 over 3. So I will go with 4 runs in an inning making you a semi-struggler, 5 runs making you a full struggler. So Colon has given up 3. He's still semi-fresh, and he is not a struggler or a semi-struggler at this point in the inning. So we're going to keep him out there, as the Indians' bullpen is pretty shabby to start with. Cabrera is your hitter. The roll is a 1-2-2. Is he fresh? Yes. Is he a flash? He's a semi-flash. And the decider die says no, so we will not have a strikeout. Instead, we'll have a ground out to shortstop. And that will be the second out of the inning. And that will bring Steve Finley to the plate with 2 outs and the base is empty. Finley dials up a 1-2-4. Is Colon a control pitcher? Yes, he is. That's a ground out to shortstop, and that ends the inning. But the Angels strike for 3 more runs on the big home run by Juan Rivera. And after 4 innings complete, the Angels are ahead 5-0, and John Lackey is cruising. It will be the number 6 hitter, Matt Lawton, leading things off for the Indians as they try to get something going here in the top of the 5th against John Lackey and stay alive in the tournament. The roll is a 1-2-5. Is Lackey a struggler? No way. Is the hitter patient? He is semi-patient, and the decider die says yes. So that will be a base on balls. Although the eyeglasses say that a questionable or a strict umpire calls strike 3. D. Scott Howard is not questionable or strict. So that will be ball 4, and that will be a walk. Come on, Lackey, you've got a 5-run lead. Throw strikes, pal. Excuse me. That brings Travis Fryman to the plate. He is the cold guy tonight he is not the cold guy tonight. Brannion's the cold guy. So Fryman against Lackey, and his role is a 2-4-4. Is Lackey an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. That's going to be a ground out to shortstop or a strikeout for a whiffer. Fryman is a whiffer, so that will be a strikeout. And Lawton holds up at first. Now comes Russell Brannion. He is your cold guy for tonight. Let's see if he can't get something going against John Lackey. The roll here is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? Molina is semi-gold. The decider die says yes. And that will be a strikeout of Russell Brannion. We'll call that a strikeout looking. The runner holds. And that brings the light-hitting catcher Einar Diaz to the plate. With 2 outs and a runner at first. Diaz throws a 2-4-5. Is Diaz a hero? No, he is a utility guy. So that will be a pop out to second base to end the inning. And we are now halfway through. It is a 5-0 Los Angeles lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And we will begin the bottom of the 5th with Sean Figgins at the plate. And we will be on the player experience chart. Colon is still out there for Cleveland. He is neutral. And Figgins is a semi-prospect. So on the player experience chart, on a roll of 2-5, do we have an icon batter? No. So he does not chop the pitch past shortstop. Instead, he lines out to third base to start the inning. So Colon gets the first out. And that brings Adam Kennedy to the plate. Kennedy, 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? He is a semi-ace. The decider die says no. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says yes on that one, and that will be a strikeout. Quickly 2 up and 2 down as Garrett Anderson comes to the plate for Los Angeles. Colon in his 5th inning of work. The roll is a 2-2-3. Is Colon wild? No. Is the batter a slugger or a utility? He is a semi-slugger, and the decider die says yes, and that will be a line out to shortstop. Or a strikeout if he is a whiffer. He is a semi-whiffer, and he is not a whiffer according to the decider die, so that will be a line out to shortstop to end the inning. So Colon bounces back and gets 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the 5th. But time is running out on the Tribe's offense. Omar Vizquel leads off for the Tribe as we head to the top of the 6th. John Lackey is in control. He has only given up 3 hits in this game, and the Indians have left all 3 men on base. LA has 7 hits and only 1 man left on base, thanks to the 2 big home runs by Vlad Guerrero and Juan Rivera here tonight. Vizquel, 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? He is not. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? Vizquel is not a whiffer. He is not cold. He grounded out last time up. So that takes us to the infield drama chart. Infield drama, the roll is a 2-2. Is the pitcher gold? Lackey is not gold. So he will not catch the line drive back through the box. He will fumble the ball, and the batter will be safe at first on the error. So the Indians catch a break there, as the fielding error is committed by Lackey, allowing Vizquel to reach as the Tribe gets the leadoff hitter on base. And Ricky Gutierrez comes to the plate as we go to the player experience chart. Lackey is neutral. Gutierrez is an icon. And on a roll of 5-5, full count, batter steps out of box. Timeout. Play resumes. Roll decide or die for base on balls or strikeout. The decide or die is blank, and I don't know if that means it's a base on balls or a strikeout. So we're going to roll the decide or die again, and we will just arbitrarily say that if he gets the PIP, it will be a base on balls. If he does not get the PIP, it will be a strikeout, and he strikes out. And Vizquel remains at first base with 1 out now for the hot-hitting Jim Thome. Thome facing off against Lackey. The roll is a 1-3-6. Is Lackey an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? Thome is indeed a whiffer, and that will be a strikeout. So Lackey gets 2 straight strikeouts after making the error to start the inning. And with 2 men out now, it is Ellis Burks coming to the plate with the final chance of the Indians getting anything done here in the 6th. 4-5-5 is your roll. Is Lackey a flash? He is a flash. That will be a strikeout to end the inning. So Lackey strikes out the last 3 men he faces here in the 6th. And he is just mowing him down now as we go to the bottom of the 6th, and the Angels still lead by a score of 5-0. It will be Vlad Guerrero leading things off against Bartolo Colon. This will be Colon's final inning of work here in the 6th, assuming he makes it through without becoming a struggler in this inning. And the roll is a 4-5-6. Is the batter patient? He is semi-patient, and the decide or die says no. So that will be a fly out to center field for the first out of the inning. Benji Molina comes to the plate now, and we go to the team chemistry chart for this at-bat. Both teams semi-harmonious. Is the batting team harmonious? The decide or die says no. And that will be a ground out to the choice infielder, in this case a ground out to the third baseman. Quickly 2 up and 2 down as Juan Rivera comes to the plate. Rivera with that dramatic home run in his last at bat off of Colon. And the roll now is a 1-1-2. Is Colon a flash? The decide or die says yes, and that is a strikeout. And that ends the 6th inning with the score still 5-0 in favor of the Angels. Lackey is no longer fresh or semi-fresh, but he is mowing him down. He's given up only 3 hits through 6 innings of work and shut the Indians down. So we're going to let him have the opportunity to finish what he started, with Milton Bradley leading things off for the Indians here in the top of the 7th. And the roll is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Bradley a hot batter? No. And that is a pop out to third base. And that is the first out of the inning, and that brings Matt Lawton to the plate. Lawton against Lackey. 4-5-6. Is Lawton a patient batter? He is semi-patient, and the decide or die says yes, so Lawton draws the walk. That brings Travis Fryman to the plate. And a little bit of stirring has started in the Los Angeles bullpen after the walk to Lawton. Fryman now dials up a 1-4-4. Is Lackey a flash? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. And with 2 out now, the cold guy, Russell Branyan, comes to the plate for the Indians as Excitement begins to build in the stands here in Los Angeles as the Angels appear to be on the brink of moving on in the tournament. The roll for Brandon is a 4-6-6. Is Lackey a control? He is a semi-control. The decider die says no. Is Brandon a home run king or a slugger? He is semi-home run king and semi-slugger. The decider die says yes, and that is a strikeout. How about that? Brandon strikes out to end the inning. And through 6.5, it remains 5-0 Los Angeles. If anybody is still out here, it's 7th inning stretch time. Take me out to the ball game. You know the rest. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. And that is going to be it for Bartolo Colon for Cleveland. Let's see who the Tribe will bring in to face Erstad, Cabrera, and Finley, lefty, righty, lefty. And they have a lot of lousy looking arms in that bullpen. We are going to go with the lefty Terry Mulholland to face the bottom of the order. He is a semi-workman, and that makes him better than most anybody else in the Cleveland bullpen. Except for Shuey, but Shuey's a righty. So we'll bring the lefty Mulholland in to face the bottom of the order here in the Angels' 7th inning. So Al Red Sox fan is singing along, and Rob knows the rest. The new second version at the old ball game. All right, fellas. Bottom of the 7th, Darren Erstad leading off against Terry Mulholland, lefty against left-hand batter. The roll is a 2-3-5. Is Mulholland wild? No, he is not. Is Erstad eager? He is semi-eager. The decider die says no. And that will be a ground out to second. So Mulholland retires the first man he faces. And that brings the right-handed hitting Orlando Cabrera to the plate. The roll is a 2-6-6. Is there a runner on first? No, there is not. Is he the leadoff batter? No, he is not. That will be a fly out to right field. Quickly 2 up and 2 down for Mulholland as Steve Finley comes to the plate. Left-handed batter facing the lefty. And Finley on a 4-5-6. Is Finley patient? No, he is not. That will be a fly out to center field to end the inning. And that gets us through 7 complete. The Angels still lead 5-0. And Lackey is going to come on for his 8th inning of work, facing the light-hitting catcher Einar Diaz to lead things off. And we are going to pinch hit for Diaz, I believe. We got to have somebody better than this utility guy who can get on base and maybe get things started. And we've got nothing on the bench but utilities and semi-utilities, with one exception being Kareem Garcia. Kareem Garcia will come into the game to pinch hit for Diaz. He is a hero and a home run king and a semi-slugger. So Diaz will be taken down in favor of Kareem Garcia. Number 20. And it will be Garcia to lead off against John Lackey. See if the Indians can get anything at all started here in the top of the 8th. Garcia spins up a 3-3-3. There's no pitcher quality here. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? He is certainly not. That's why he's in here to pinch hit. And that will be a triple to the gap. Kareem Garcia with the leadoff triple. And the Indians have something going here in the top of the 8th. Vizquel comes to the plate. And once again, there's some stirring in the Los Angeles bullpen. As Lackey glares into the dugout, he doesn't want to come out of this ball game. John Lackey was a very, very intense competitor, one of the most intense guys you'd ever seen on the mound, as I'm sure our Red Sox fan will tell you. And the roll for Vizquel is a 2-4-4. Is Lackey an ace? No. Is Vizquel a champion? No. That will be a ground out to shortstop, or a whiff if he's a whiffer. He's not a whiffer. And with a 5-1 lead, we had the infield back, and that will be the dreaded RBI ground out. So that's going to be a ground out, short to first. The run scores, and it's now a 5-1 ball game as Vizquel picks up the RBI. Lackey still doesn't want anything to do with any bullpen coming in here. So the manager says, "Yeah, okay, we'll give you the rest of the inning if nobody else gets on base." And it will be Ricky Gutierrez who spins a 1-1-6. Is the pitcher fresh? No. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? Gutierrez is not. So that will be a single to left field. And that's a delta reading, but that doesn't affect Gutierrez. Gutierrez hits the single. And now the fans here in Los Angeles will give a polite round of applause to John Lackey, who exits the game having served up his 5th hit of the night and 1 run. The shutout is gone. Gutierrez is on first. Jim Thome is your batter. So the Angels are going to want to bring on a lefty. Let's see who we've got. Jake Woods is a semi-workman, semi-flash. And he is the only lefty out of the bullpen. So we will bring him on. And since it is the middle of the inning, he will have the ace quality to go against Jim Thome. Thome looking to make some noise here in the 8th. He could bring it to within a 2-run game with 1 swing of the bat here. And on a 2-3-6, what do we got? Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? He is a semi-control, so the answer is no. Is the pitcher batting? No. And that's going to be a base on balls. Thome draws the walk. And there's some shuffling around in the stands now. It is 5-1. And the tying run is now on deck. Ellis Burks is at the plate. And they are immediately going to pull. Let's see, I never did replace Lackey in the lineup, did I? So let me backpedal here. Lackey goes out, and that was Jake Woods who came in to pitch. It was Woods who gave up the walk to Thome. And now Woods will be pulled from the game. And he will be replaced by let's see, Scott Shields is their best righty reliever, but he got torched last night for 4 runs and didn't even retire a batter. So do you go back to Scott Shields or do you go to the semi-star Brendan Donnelly? We'll let the decider die decide. And on a roll of blank, we go to Scott Shields. Shields had a very rough outing in Game 2, but they're going to go to him in Game 3 to face Ellis Burks with 2 men on and just 1 out here in the top of the 8th. It is Scott Shields coming into the ball game. So Burks against Scott Shields. Shields is an ace for this at bat. He is also a star and a flash. And if Burks gets on base, that'll bring the tying run to the plate for the Indians. The roll here is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? Yes, he is, and that is a strikeout. out for Scott Shields as he took advantage of that ace quality, and he got Burke swinging. The runners hold up, and Milton Bradley is the last chance for the Indians to make some noise here in inning number 8. Ricky Gutierrez at second, Jim Thome at first, leading from their respectable bases. Milton Bradley is the batter against Scott Shields. And the roll is another 1-3-6. Is he an ace? Not now. He doesn't have that quality for this at bat. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? Let's see. Bradley is a semi-whiffer, and the decider die says yes, and that will be a strikeout. So Scott Shields comes in to get Ellis Burks and Milton Bradley swinging. Fine bounce back for Shields in tonight's game after the disaster that took place last night. And that takes us to the bottom of the 8th. And Los Angeles coming to bat for what they hope will be the final time. Let's see, I forgot to replace Diaz at catcher. So I need to get him out of there and put the regular catcher, the regular backup catcher in the game, which would be Eddie Perez. All right. Top of the order for the Angels, leading 5-1. Terry Mulholland is the lefty on the mound, and it will be switch hitter lefty for the Angels. Mulholland is semi-fresh, and he's not a very good pitcher. The Indians are going to go with their best guy out of the bullpen in this situation, and that's going to be Paul Shuey. So Shuey is into the game to replace Mulholland in pitch 8th. I think I also forgot to put Mulholland into the game on ice score. So I got to get better with this ice score deal. Figgins, 2-4-5. No pitcher quality on that roll. Is Figgins a hero? Yes, he is. That will be a single to center field. Figgins is an active runner. Eddie Perez is a neutral catcher, which means if Figgins can get his lead, he can steal on a roll of 1-5. The decider die will determine if he gets his lead, and the single die will reveal if he steals the base. He does not get the lead, so he cannot steal, and that will bring Adam Kennedy to the plate to face Shuey with nobody out and Figgins at first. The roll is a 2-4-5. Is Kennedy a hero? Yes, he is. That's a single to left field. And on a lead die of 2, runners advance 1 base. So we've got runners at first and second now for Garrett Anderson. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Angels looking to end the suspense here in this half inning. Anderson, 1-1-5. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes. That will be a pop fly to the choice infielder, and in this case the choice is the second baseman. So a big first out for Shuey, but he's not out of the woods yet as Vladimir Guerrero comes to the plate. I believe it was Greg Swindell, the former Cleveland Indian, Cincinnati Red hurler, who said that baseball is a game of firsts. You got to get the first strike on the hitter, the first out of the inning, and win the first game of the series. And those are the 3 keys to having a successful baseball team. Here's Vlad Guerrero facing Shuey. Runners at first and second, 1 out. The roll for Guerrero is a 1-1-5. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes, that is a pop out to the choice infielder, which is the first baseman. Thome makes the play. And that is a pop up to first base. And the runners will hold, and your 2-out hitter will be Benji Molina. Didn't get to use the hot guy Kochman off the bench, but Molina is going to have his chance with 2 on and 2 outs to extend the lead for Los Angeles against Paul Shuey. And the roll here is 3-3-5. Is Shuey wild? He is not. Is the batter a sad sack? He is not. That's going to be a single to right. And on a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit. So Benji Molina comes through with the RBI single. Figgins will score, Kennedy will move to third, and that makes it a 6-1 ball game. And that brings Juan Rivera to the plate. Rivera hit the big home run earlier in the game. Let's see if he can do it again against Paul Shuey here with 2 on and 2 out. And on a roll of 4-4-6, what do we got? Is the pitcher a star? He is not. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patience? He is not. And that is going to be a single to right field. And with a lead die of 4, runners advance 2 bases on singles. If a stoic runner is on first base, advances only to second, except with 2 outs. That's Benji Molina. He ain't going nowhere. So that will be in play. That will be a single. Kennedy will score. Molina stops at second. Rivera stops at first. And it is now a 7-1 ball game. And Darren Erstad comes to the plate. And Indians management has seen enough of Paul Shuey here tonight. He is going out. And it will be Ricardo Rincon coming into the game. The left-hander to face Darren Erstad. And on a roll of 4-6-6, he is Rincon a control pitcher? Yes, he is. The pitch is red, and it's a single to left field. My goodness. This is one of those innings where the Indians can't buy a break. But with Molina, the stoic runner, he's just going to move up 1 base, and that's going to load him up. Bases loaded, 2 outs now. Still a 7-1 ball game. And that brings Orlando Cabrera to the plate. And we go to the player experience chart. So we've got an icon batter against a neutral pitcher. And on a roll of 1-6, is the pitcher an icon? No. So he does not get a ground out to shortstop. Otherwise, the batter connects, and it's a single to the outfield. And on a lead die of 1, active runners score from second base on any hit. The runner at second is Juan Rivera. He is semi-stoic, so he will hold up. But that is another single. This is one of those innings where it just seems like every break that goes against the Indians. As the Angels have now put up 3, and it's an 8-1 ball game. And it is Steve Finley to the plate. The roll is a 1-4-4. Is Rincon a flash? He is a semi-flash, and of course the decider die says no. Is Finley a hero? He is not. And that will be a ground out to shortstop.
I saved it, dear. I saved it.
Casey, you turned the TV on.
And the dog just turned the TV on. Even the dog is bored with this game. But that ends the inning, and it is an 8-1 game now. And they're just going to leave Scott Shields out there to pitch the ninth as the Indians bring 6, 7, and 8, Lawton, Fryman, and Branyan to the plate. And the fans here in Los Angeles, those who have not yet left the ballpark to beat the traffic with their team ahead now 8-1, are rooting for their team to finish off the inning and get the Angels into round 2 of the best team I've ever seen tournament. So Matt Lawton is your leadoff batter. He rolls a 4-5-6. There's no pitcher quality there. Is the batter patient? He is semi-patient. The decider's eye says no, and that will be a fly out to center field to open the inning. That takes us to the team chemistry chart. Both teams are still semi-harmonious. And on a roll of 2-5, is their pitching team dissonance? No. So there will not be a lack of hustle. And the right fielder gets to that fly ball, and it is Vlad Guerrero making the catch of the fly ball for the second out. And the last hope now is Travis Fryman. Travis Fryman against Scott Shields. He is a utility batter. Let's see if we got anybody better on the bench just for the fun of it. Utility, semi-utility. John McDonald is a scrapper. Yeah, what the heck. We'll give John McDonald the at-bat here. Just for the sheer joy of making a substitution. John McDonald, the utility infielder, not to be confused with the Christian author by the same name. Facing Scott Shields. And on a roll of 1-5-5, is he a home run king? No, he is not. And that will be a fly ball to center field, and that ends your ball game. So the final score from Los Angeles, Angel Stadium, Anaheim, California, is the Los Angeles Angels 8 and the Cleveland Indians 1. 8 runs on 13 hits, 1 error for Los Angeles. Cleveland goes 1-5-0. The starting pitchers are the pitchers of record, so the win will go to Lackey, and the loss will be pinned on Bartolo Colon. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your ball game. Thanks to everybody who came out to the chat room tonight.